With him, because that's what he wanted.
Okay.
That's what he wanted. He wanted to get you outside of yourself. He wanted to piss you off and kind of control the situation. And I guess I recognize that. Plus, it wasn't part of my game. Like it frustrates people more when you just keep coming and coming and coming. You just keep getting things done, and no matter what they throw at you or no matter what they do,
Tim Duncan just broke.
Tim Duncan just broke his silence, and the basketball world instantly erupted into chaos. For nearly a decade, the quiet legend stayed completely out of the spotlight. No interviews, no debates, no social media arguments, just silence. But now that silence is gone, and the very first thing he said has people arguing all over the league. The comment he made about LeBron James hit the basketball world like a lightning strike. Fans are choosing sides, analysts are shouting on television, and the internet can't stop replaying one simple sentence. Duncan reportedly said, "Numbers don't make you the GOAT." That single line instantly reignited one of the biggest debates in sports. This isn't just another random basketball argument about statistics or championships. The discussion runs much deeper than that. It touches on legacy, respect, leadership, and what it truly means to be called the greatest player in the history of the sport. Duncan almost never speaks publicly about debates like this, which makes the moment even more surprising. When someone with his reputation and quiet authority finally says something, people listen very carefully. As the story continues to unfold, it begins to challenge everything many fans thought they knew about the GOAT conversation. When a five-time champion, someone who built a...
Is anybody going to sit here and tell me in their right mind that Barry Sanders is not one of the greatest athletes to ever walk the face of the Spurs,
100%.
regardless of just being a football player?
Right.
I mean, they came close to maybe, advancing through the playoffs.
Not that close.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But my point
you're right.
But my point being, you wouldn't have a discussion about great players in the NFL without including Barry Sanders. But this is a different discussion. This is a very...
That had always been his style. No drama, no spotlight, and no loud opinions. It was the same calm presence that defined his entire career with the San Antonio Spurs. But this time, something different happened. Someone in the room had their phone recording, and what Tim Duncan said during a private conversation with several former players suddenly escaped that room and landed straight on the internet. Within minutes, the moment turned into one of the most talked about basketball stories of the year. The leaked audio clip appeared on Twitter at exactly 11 p.m. that night. At first, it looked like just another random post, but within hours, it began spreading everywhere. By the time morning arrived, the video had already passed 12 million views. Every sports show in America started discussing it, and debate programs across the country suddenly had the same question on their screens. What did Tim Duncan really mean?
And one of the things I discussed on that was him saying how he is considering whether or not he would actually want to do a walkaway quietly like Tim Duncan at the end of his career, or if he wants to do the farewell tour like Kobe and Kareem and those guys. And my whole thing was...
Here's the part that shocked people the most. Tim Duncan reportedly said, "I see all these debates about who's the GOAT, and everyone's counting points and assists like it's a video game. But that's not what makes you great. Numbers don't make you the GOAT. Mindset does. How you carry yourself and how you make your teammates better without needing credit for it." That single statement immediately set the basketball world on fire. As soon as fans heard it, many believed Duncan was sending a direct message toward LeBron James. The real question quickly became whether Duncan was actually criticizing LeBron or pointing out something much bigger about how greatness is judged in today's game. Once the debate started, it spread rapidly. More clips began surfacing, reactions poured in from fans and analysts, and suddenly the entire GOAT conversation looked very different than it had just a week earlier. Before diving deeper into what Duncan truly meant, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next breakdown, because the reactions that followed this comment only made the situation even louder. Moments like this remind fans why true legends are often defined by more than just the numbers on the stat sheet.
Bench cut: Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, LeBron James.
No, I refuse to answer that one.
You can't plead the fifth.
I will start all three of them and cut and bench myself.
That is the correct answer. That's the correct answer. Okay, how about this?
That was the heart of the message from Tim Duncan, and people caught it immediately. The wild part is that Duncan never even mentioned LeBron James by name. He didn't have to. Everyone listening already knew who the conversation seemed to be circling around. Within minutes, the internet exploded. Fans began sharing opinions everywhere. One comment read, "Duncan really said what we've all been thinking." Another fan fired back instantly, writing, "LeBron lives rent-free in everyone's head. Stay mad." The reactions kept coming without pause. Basketball fans, former players, analysts, suddenly everyone had something to say. The entire NBA community appeared to split right down the middle. Some praised Duncan for finally saying what they believed no one else would say, while others defended LeBron with equal intensity. But the craziest part of the situation
that don't get mentioned enough in that GOAT talk.
Tim Duncan, absolutely. Wilt Chamberlain, absolutely. Bill Russell, absolutely. Like, you don't mention those guys. And all of them for different reasons. Because you think of, like, LeBron being a GOAT, what he's done on the court, what he's done off the court, how he's elevated the game, transcended the game, and then you...
Earlier this year, LeBron James crossed one of the most historic milestones the league has ever seen: 40,000 career points, something no player in the history of the National Basketball Association had ever achieved before. And he hasn't slowed down. LeBron continues climbing nearly every major statistical leaderboard the league tracks. He's also been very open about celebrating those accomplishments, sharing workout clips, posting graphics of new records, and reposting analysts who call him the greatest player ever. After such a long and successful career, many fans argue he has every right to celebrate those achievements. But once Tim Duncan's comments began circulating, fans started asking a deeper question. Is celebrating numbers the same thing as defining greatness? That question quickly reignited the entire GOAT debate. Media outlets, podcasts, and debate shows began comparing LeBron's numbers with legends like Michael Jordan and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Analysts pulled out advanced metrics, efficiency ratings, longevity arguments, playoff statistics, and every possible comparison. Turn on sports television, scroll through social media, or open YouTube, and the debate appears everywhere. But according to people close to Duncan and other old-school players, this obsession with numbers is exactly what many former legends quietly dislike about the modern conversation around greatness. For players like Duncan, the debate should be about more than statistics. During his legendary career with the San Antonio Spurs, Duncan built a dynasty focused on team success. He won 5 championships, 3 Finals MVP awards, and 2 regular season MVP trophies. Yet, Duncan never chased headlines or personal recognition. Some nights he scored 30 points, while on other nights he focused on defense, rebounding, and setting screens so teammates could shine. His focus was always the result, winning games and building a culture of teamwork. LeBron's approach to greatness has always looked different. Throughout his career, he has understood how legacy, milestones, and historical records shape how players are remembered. His brand, his story, and his achievements have been carefully documented throughout his journey. That doesn't necessarily make one philosophy right and the other wrong. It simply highlights 2 different views of what greatness means. Duncan represents a quieter era built on sacrifice and team identity, while LeBron represents a modern era where numbers, media narratives, and personal legacy play a much bigger role. Those contrasting philosophies are part of why Duncan's reported comments created such a massive reaction. Duncan, often called the big fundamental, built his career through disciplined, precise basketball rather than flashy highlights. While players like Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal dominated headlines during their era, Duncan quietly collected championships. 5 titles with the same organization over 19 seasons under coach Greg Popovich created one of the most stable dynasties in basketball history. Duncan's leadership style also involved sacrifice. When Tony Parker became the engine of the offense, Duncan stepped back and allowed him to lead. Later, when Kawhi Leonard began emerging as a superstar, Duncan adjusted again, accepting a smaller role to help the team evolve. He even took pay cuts so the Spurs could build stronger rosters. Those kinds of sacrifices rarely appear on stat sheets, but they defined the culture of the team. Supporters of LeBron counter that the modern NBA operates very differently. Player movement, massive contracts, media coverage, and social media visibility have changed the landscape of the league. LeBron has carried multiple teams deep into the playoffs, won championships with different franchises, and maintained elite performance for more than 2 decades. His longevity alone makes his career look almost impossible. Eventually, the debate spread across the entire basketball community. Former players began sharing their perspectives. Some defended Duncan's team-first philosophy, while others argued that LeBron's influence, versatility, and sustained excellence changed the game forever. Social media exploded with fans choosing sides, creating hashtags like Team Duncan and Team LeBron, as the argument dominated sports conversations for days. At the heart of the debate lies a deeper question. What truly defines greatness? If greatness is measured by numbers, longevity, and statistical dominance, LeBron has one of the strongest cases in history. If greatness is